What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. Apologies for being slightly late. I was just dealing with some trades in the copy trading account over with the bundle members. I had a trade that was very profitable, few trades actually, and I was just dealing with them, altering the stop losses, altering the take profits, because right now XRP is making a move, and I have a trade open on XRP, have a trade open on numerous different coins. But I am expecting the market to continue to go higher. We're going to talk about whether this is a comeback rally and it's going to be a full on V shaped recovery, or whether this is going to be just a dead cat bounce and it is inevitably going to lead to the bear market. Those are the questions I'm going to be answering in today's live stream. As always, get the likes in on the stream. If we could hit 300 likes by the end of this stream, that would be very much appreciated. It helps out with the channel more than you'll ever know. And yeah, we got a good live stream for you today. So this is the first stream back since we had the cataclysmic dump, I believe. I did make a video subsequent to the crash, but this is the first live stream back since that cataclysm where essentially everything rugged. Okay. Everything was down 90%, 80%. And it was one of the worst events I've ever seen in markets, to be quite frank with you. Probably the worst event I've seen in crypto. And I was here for FTX. I was here for Luna. I was here for Celsius. I was here for all of that. COVID crash. This was worse than all of them combined in terms of liquidations. And even in terms of the percentage drop with altcoins, it was disastrous. Luckily, Bitcoin has held in and kept its structure. But this has been nothing short of a disastrous dump. But we are recovering. We're making a comeback. And I'm going to talk about the levels I'm personally looking at because I don't know if we're going to go straight up. Like, I am expecting some form of a V-shaped recovery, but not necessarily like a full-on V-shaped recovery, right? There might be a little bit of resistance at this level here. The level I'm talking about is the golden pocket and this macro resistance line that we've talked about on Bitcoin so many times. You can see that white line on your screen here. It stems all the way back to 2017, and every single major high on Bitcoin has hit that level. We are currently just below that level, and it looks like we're going to be making a move up to it. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether we get any resistance at this level here, because it's both a golden pocket and it is the macro trend line on Bitcoin. You can see we've rejected at this trend line before. It was one rejection, and then we got above it the next time. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens as we come into contact with that trend line potentially in the coming days. It could be the next 24 or 48 hours. Now, obviously, the reason we are rallying is because Trump has been de-escalating the trade war situation with China. Initially, China did something that basically pissed off Trump regarding the rare earth minerals, and Trump retaliated back with a 100% tariff on China. And then Trump went out and put a Truth Social post saying that essentially you shouldn't worry about China. Xi wants to sort things out. Trump wants to sort things out because he doesn't want a depression in China. And if you look at the poly market odds, they have been soaring for some sort of a deal to be made, some sort of an ultimatum between the two parties. And that is partly why the markets are going up right now, is because people believe this is going to be resolved yet again. And, people have heard the taco phrase, Trump always chickens out. People have said many times that this is just a bargaining tactic and Trump always backs down when it risks markets because essentially, Trump, he's a stock market president in a way, right? That's one of the main things that will make him proud is if the stock market's going up. Okay. So we're going to just look at the odds here on poly markets. If you go into poly markets and you look for China and US trade agreement, tariff agreement, here we go. US times China tariff agreement by November 10th currently has an 83% chance of occurring. So the market will resolve to yes if an official agreement over tariffs defined as a publicly announced mutual agreement, is reached between the United States and China. So the market is currently believing that we will get some form of agreement. That actually dropped down to 54%. And since Trump's post, it has gone up to around 84%. So a lot of this, in my opinion, is just noise. It's bargaining tactics. It's the art of the deal. You know, they're just trying to basically come to some form of agreement. And the way I described it in the Discord, it's not the nicest analogy, but quite often before a war comes to an end, right? Before a ceasefire is agreed, you see all out explosions. You see both sides really ramp up the offensive just before the agreement is made. We've seen it many times with wars. They say the war's going to end in 24 hours or the war's going to end in 48 hours. And in that last period, they absolutely obliterate each other. In a way, this is what's going on with the trade war. We're getting close to that agreement now, and you're just having those last little spats, those last little issues before we get to a resolution. That's personally my belief with it all. So in terms of the actual price structure on Bitcoin, it's looking okay. I mean, I'm not completely flipping bullish, okay? I mean, I'm still macro bullish, but in the short term, there are still some question marks, and I think there is a solid chance we could meet some resistance here, because you've got to bear in mind as well, and I want to give a shout out to one of my bundle members, Mad Greek, who said that if Bitcoin pumps, there's going to be a lot of people who actually scooped up this dip down here who are going to want to sell, because that is a genius trade. If you manage to pick it up right at the bottom there, you're up massively right now. So there's potentially going to be some profit takers of people who manage to scoop up those ridiculous dips. But on the whole, we are looking good. And the reason we're looking good is because of the liquidity heat maps in the bigger picture, okay? In the short term, there's still a bit of a chance that we could come a little bit lower. But if you look at the bigger picture, such as the weekly, okay, a lot of the liquidity now is building to the upside. And obviously, that is bullish, because basically what's happened is loads of the longs got liquidated during the dump. During this cataclysm, loads of the longs got liquidated, and they basically flushed out all the leverage. There's a massive leverage flush out. And when that happens, all the liquidity starts building to the upside, because all you've got left is shorts. If all the longs get wrecked, then all you've got left is shorts. And then the market makers are going to try and drive the shorts out. So they're going to bring us to the upside. It's just how markets work. Whenever you have a mass liquidation event, typically you see usually a V-shaped recovery, because then they've got to go for the shorts. And that's the moral of this story, really, with the crypto market, this cycle. Whenever there's liquidity, they're going to come for it, because this whole bull run has been driven by leverage, essentially. So that's the region I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the 2-week Binance Bitcoin USDT liquidation heat map, and all of the liquidity right now is building to the upside. All of it. So I think we're probably going to go up. Now, whether or not that means a massive all-time high on Bitcoin is a different question. Like I've said many times, I think there's a solid chance the Bitcoin top is in. And when I said that, I got a lot of hate. I said that up here, okay, at the top. I said there's a solid chance the Bitcoin top is in the day of the high. And people were at me like calling me an idiot, saying I don't know what I'm talking about. And look, nothing's happened yet. I mean, we could still go higher on Bitcoin. All I said was there's a solid chance the top is in. I never said it's going to happen. I just said there's a solid chance. We could just keep trading in this channel, you know? Let me just get rid of some of the things here, because it's probably looking like a bit of a complex chart here. Let's just get rid of some of the stuff, make it look a bit easier. So we could just, in theory, keep trading within this channel, within this yellow zone. We could. We could just keep on trading in this channel for a very long period of time. Maybe we go up here, we reject, we go back up, we reject, and that's just maybe what's going to happen with Bitcoin. It's kind of like a distribution phase, and it's just, basically topping out here. It's possible, or we could just go and absolutely go ballistic and make new all-time highs. But this pattern here isn't necessarily the most bullish pattern because, it's to the upside. Typically, these types of things break to the downside when you see these types of formations, okay? So I don't think there's a huge amount of time left in Bitcoin's bull market. And I also don't think it's going an awful lot higher. But the altcoins, I believe, will significantly outperform Bitcoin from here on in. I really do. I think Ethereum is probably going somewhere between kind of 5.2, 5.3, all the way up to 6K. That's my region for Ethereum. And honestly, I think it could hit that region a lot sooner than people think. A lot sooner. Because all the liquidity now is flushed out of the alts. All the leverage is flushed out, rather. So I really think there's going to be like a magnetic force dragging us upwards now with a lot of these altcoins. And, I'm closely watching the Russell 2000 because that is your risk on index for the stock market. If that continues to go up, then I would more or less guarantee that Total 3 will also go up. So things aren't looking too bad, guys. They're really not. I mean, this was just a mass liquidation event. This was manipulation at its finest. Certain people got very, very rich off this crash. But if you held in your positions, you just kept buying the dips, I think you're going to be fine. And I think you're going to be looking back at that event and thinking that was one of the best buy opportunities ever for a lot of the altcoins. Because some of the prices we saw on altcoins were straight up ridiculous. Straight up ridiculous. And I don't think we'll see those prices again until the bear market. So my top list remains the same, and my targets actually haven't really changed. I put out a post on X saying my targets haven't really changed for any of my high conviction plays. I still have the same targets. I still think Total 3 is heading for its higher fib targets. I really do. We just got an up reversal signal on my prime oscillator on the daily. So I don't think anything's changing here. This is just going to look like a blip in the chart. And I really think long term, as in when I say long term with alts, I mean, the next few weeks. Long term with altcoins is a few weeks. Okay. But when we're looking at the rest of this year, I think alts are probably going to do very well. I really do. Bitcoin, I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's looking like it's getting close to a top. Alts, however, haven't even began their rallies, to be honest with you. And yes, you can have a situation where alts are going up and Bitcoin is going sideways. You absolutely can have that situation. We've seen it in previous cycles. We saw that in 2017 to 2018. Okay, and another example we saw that was when Ethereum shot up to 5K just recently. Ethereum went to 5K 11 days after Bitcoin put in its local top at 123. There was an 11-day lag between Bitcoin's top and Ethereum's top. So we've already seen that process play out of the money flow, of the rotation. And they needed the flush out to hit the reset button and now drag us up. So this crash actually made me more bullish than ever, to be honest with you. I know it sounds crazy, but it made me even more bullish. And I put my money where my mouth was, and I bought more on the dips. I bought Casper at 5 cents. I bought H-bar, and I bought more into a meme coin as well, which the VIPs are aware of, but I'm not going to mention that meme coin on the live stream currently. Also, I want to just talk about the fact that, the day of the crash, we made a 2x on Zora, okay? The day of the crash, we made a 2x on Zora on this channel. And I took profits on Zora just before the crash. just before the crash. What did I do with those profits? I rotated those profits directly into Morpho. Directly into Morpho. What were the odds that Morpho was the best performing coin in the top 200? Morpho was the only coin in the green. The only coin in the green was Morpho. And that was the only coin I bought just before the crash. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You really can't. So you would have got a 2x on Zora, rotated that into Morpho, and then Morpho was the only coin that survived the crash that was actually up from its pre-crash levels the day of the crash. So I'm super bullish on Morpho right now. I think there's going to be a big borrowing and lending narrative in crypto, and Morpho is directly integrated within Coinbase. So I bought more Morpho. You can see here, the day of the crash, bought $15,000 of Morpho at 1.67. Somehow, some way, Morpho pumped throughout the crash. I mean, it did have a quick wick down, but it went straight back up, more or less instantly. And you can see right now it's sat at $2. So that is an absolute miracle, the fact that we put our money in the one coin that pumped. The one coin. But yeah, we're going to get through some of the comments here. Let's see how XRP is doing, because I did have a trade open on the old XRP. How's it doing? How's it doing? Let me check it on the Blowfin chart, because that's the exchange I'm trading on. Just want to see how the long's going, you know, because it was printing before. Here we go. All right. So 15-minute chart. Let's just take a look, see how it's going. Okay, so I opened up my trade at the point of breakout here. So we're in some profits. We caught this big God candle here. Caught this massive God candle. I mean, when I say massive, it was 1.45%, but it was in like 20 minutes. So it was quite a big pump when you think about it if you're using leverage. So that trade's in profits, which is good. And I took a little bit of profits off the table just before the live stream. That was good timing. But let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. How's everyone doing today? We're seeing a recovery. Let me know in the chat. Do you believe this is going to be a full-scale V-shaped recovery, or is this just going to be a dead cat bounce and we inevitably go lower? What side of the aisle are you on? I personally think this is the beginning of the recovery, but we might see a little bit of sell pressure, short-term sell pressure, potentially at that level I was talking about, around 117, 118. Yusuf says, glad to be a bundle member and copy trader. Amazing stuff, man. Yeah, the copy trading's been pretty profitable today. We've made some nice gains. I was checking my trades. I think 95% of them were in the green today. So we're winning across the board today. Epic and Zora will do well. Archie, keep up the good work. Appreciate that, Yusuf. Will we have a retracement before the big move? It's possible we could have a little bear trap, you know, make people think we're going lower and then just bang, give us a massive pump. It's possible. Personally, I think that will happen. Smash up the likes. Absolutely, Bren. Let's get those likes up on the stream. Do I think the AI narrative will come back with plays like Tau, Virtuals, and even Render looking strong today? Absolutely. I mean, the AI narrative hasn't gone anywhere. You know, it's still a strong narrative in crypto. And I would just make sure you're in the winners, because a lot of these speculative AI coins, they haven't really done anything. Just keep Tau, keep Virtuals, and maybe Render. Like, they would be the three I would look at. A lot of these low cap AI coins, they're just absolute garbage. No one, they had no funds raised from VCs. They're just pretty much garbage, you know? So you want to make sure you're in the clear winners with clear backing and connections. What is my opinion on Zora? I'm still bullish on Zora. But I did take some profits when it was up 2x in one day because, you know, you got to. When you double your money in a day, you got to take some profits, guys. Come on. I put around $40,000 into Zora. And it was up 2x in one day. So I was up in some nice profits. You have to take some profits when you're up big. So I took some profits on Zora, actually rotated them into Morpho. That turned out to be the best move on the chessboard I could have played. But Zora's going to do fine. It just got listed on Robinhood. Could you imagine if Zora got listed on Robinhood during an actual green day, during Euphoria? Could you imagine how much it would have pumped? It would have gone to new all-time highs. And I believe there's only around 20 coins actually listed on Robinhood, and Zora's one of them. So if you think about that, 20 coins, if you look at all of the top 100, the vast majority of them are not on Robinhood. The vast majority of these coins you see on CoinMarketCap are not listed on Robinhood in the top 100. Yet Zora is, and Zora's not even in the top 100. Crazy stuff. So Zora clearly has the connections. They're well-backed. Coinbase Ventures back them up. I mean, this is my edge in crypto. I know how to research fundamentals, and I know how to read a chart. I put those two things together, and it makes the most powerful trader in all of crypto. Because a lot of these guys you watch on YouTube, they only know one side of the spectrum, right? They might know fundamentals, they might know how to read a white paper and how to analyze projects backing and connections and all of that and the tech. And some of them might know the TA. But most of them don't know both. They know one or the other. Either they're a TA guy or they're a fundamentals guy. I started off as a fundamentals guy, but in the last 2 years, I've really upped my game with TA. So that gives you a big edge when you can look at the two sides of crypto. I'm sorry I was late. I told you why. I was managing the copy trading account for the bundle members. And if you're not on the big bundle, I highly recommend it because you gain access to copy trading. You can literally copy my real-time trades. So basically, if you're sleeping overnight, your money's in the account and it's just doing its thing. It's a great perk to have. Real-time copy trading. You don't have to follow any alerts. You don't have to follow the stop loss. You don't have to follow anything. It's all done manually by me, and it just correlates on your end. And you can put in as little or as much as you want. Some guys have put in over 100K. Other people have just put in $200 to test around. Well, there we go. AMC bought Sui at 53 cents and sold it today. So that's partly, you know, one reason why I think there could be some selling pressure in the coming days. Because you've got a lot of people who basically arbitrage this situation in a way. They got in at the crashes, at the wicks, and they're probably looking to sell. They're probably looking to take some profits. So that kind of sums up what I'm thinking. You know, some people caught these lows and they're going to take a little bit of profits before we go higher. Hit the like, it helps him come on faster. It does. If there's more likes on the stream, I'm more inclined to start on time. That is true. Baron Trump bought the biggest crypto dip. Yeah, it's funny how this narrative's going around, right? That it's like Baron Trump insider trading these crypto moves. It's a funny narrative. It's someone, right? I don't know who it is, but there's someone with a very suspicious wallet. There is for sure some suspicious activity going on. But the beauty is now, you know, all the longs got wrecked. So now all the shorts are going to get wrecked. That's just how they work. That's how the market makers work. So now they're going to try and liquidate a lot of the shorts and drive us to the upside to catch all that short liquidity. So I've still got my XRP trade open here. We're using this, local golden pocket, whatever you want to call it. So Bitcoin had a nice move up just before I came on air. Moved up to around 116. Bit of a doji candle on the daily, right? Little bit of one. A little bit of a doji candle here. If you don't know what a doji candle is, it is essentially an indecisive candle. And typically it moves a bit. It typically means a big move is coming. That's what it typically indicates. That a major move is coming, either to the upside or the downside. That's what a doji indicates. And Bitcoin looks like it's printing one on the daily here, but we'll have to continue to monitor it. But we all kind of expect that anyway, right? That a big move's coming. Charles, that's the reason the market will explode. Because we reach max pain. Because everyone got wrecked. You know, what some people don't understand is that money doesn't get destroyed necessarily. It gets transferred. Okay, energy gets transferred. It doesn't get destroyed. So all the people who lost money, they lost money, right? But it was someone else's gain. Your loss is someone else's gain. It's like a zero-sum game. It's PvP. So all the people shorting the market just made a ton of money. Yes, all the people longing the market got wrecked, but all the people shorting the market are now mega, mega, mega rich. They've got multiple millions to throw at the market now if they want. And I know a couple guys who were shorting this market before the crash. I wasn't one of them, got to be honest. But I know a couple guys who were shorting this market and they made millions of dollars from the crash. They were expecting a correction. They were expecting a retracement. Maybe not how it was. But I know a couple guys who were short in the market and now they're buying in. So you lost money with your longs. They gained with their shorts. And I lost money with my longs as well. I'm not having to go at you. But the point is, money doesn't just get destroyed. It always gets transferred to someone else. So whoever got broke, got broke. But a lot of people also got rich from this crash. And those people who got rich, they're probably going to be buying the dips. Okay? So yes, people got wrecked, but that is the very reason why we're going to explode. When you reach maximum pain, there's only one way up. People need to understand these dynamics. People need to understand liquidity. They need to understand the market makers. They need to understand market psychology. Because these are the things driving this market. And if you think just because a few people got wrecked, that means the bull market's over, then you're in for a treat. Made a lot of money on Friday. Exactly. There was a lot of whales who made a lot of money. So, yes, people got liquidated and lost life savings, but also people got rich on Friday. The people shorting made a killing, and they're ready to deploy. In fact, they're already doing it now. Your loss is someone else's gain. That's basically the way I'd put it. And whoever it was, whether it was Trump's son, whether it was some insider, or whether it was just someone who got lucky, someone made a lot of money from the crash, and maybe they're going to flip long at some point. Zora protected me against this dump. That's good to hear. Yeah, we got a really good entry on Zora. Archie is sounding a tad bearish today. I'm not bearish. I remain macro bullish. All I'm saying is there's a chance we could see a bit of a short-term rejection around like 117, 118 before we go higher. That's all I'm saying. I'm not bearish. I want to make myself clear. I'm way more bullish on altcoins though than I am Bitcoin. I'll make that clear as well. How often do you do your VIP voice chats? Every single day. We do VIP voice chats in the Discord every day. My favorite part of the day is speaking to the members. I mean, this Discord group is active 24/7. 24/7, there's people in here talking about the markets, sharing alpha. And the best part is the voice chats because you can actually speak to me, you know, through your microphone rather than just a keyboard. I much prefer voice chats over text chats personally. I'm much more of an auditory person, you know. I like talking to people rather than texting people. You know, one of the worst things is if you have an argument with someone over text. Maybe some of you guys can relate, but it's the worst thing because you don't get the social cues through text, right? People can misinterpret text. You could think something is serious when it's actually satirical. Whereas when you speak through your voice, there's tone, which is very important. So I'm not a big text guy. I prefer talking to people one to one, you know? 265 people in the stream and 100 likes. Pump up the likes. Yeah, let's get more likes. Avantis or Zora right now, I think both are great. You see XRP is retesting that zone I was talking about. I'm in a trade right now on XRP. I have got a stop loss set though, so I'm protected. So let's take a look at both charts and kind of compare them. You know, people have been asking me, Archie, what would you buy on this dip? And I basically say anything. I would buy anything on this dip because everything's a good buy. Because everything had a bear market in one day. So you can pretty much throw the money at anything, and I think in a few weeks you'll be glad. Now, Avantis is kind of in no man's land, I got to be honest. So it's in between the 786 and the double bottom that it made during the crash. It's crazy. Even after this massive dump on Avantis, I am still up. Still up over 2x. Even after this massive dump. On the bag I still hold. Now, of course, I took profits on Avantis when it was all the way up here. Took profits when I was up 8x, and I rotated it into Zora, actually. So I took profits at an 8x on Avantis and rotated it into Zora. Zora then did a 2x. I then rotated the Zora profits into Morpho. I mean, it was just a generational run. I'm so annoyed that we had that crash because I was going to call something else that was going to do another 10x. You know, back to back to back, we were making so many X's. 10x in 10 days on Avantis. We rotated that into Zora. Zora did a 2x in 24 hours. We rotated Zora into Morpho. Morpho was the biggest gainer in the market during the crash. So we've been making super good moves in this market. And I haven't re-entered into Avantis because I'm still up 2x for my entry. I don't see a need to re-enter personally. But what I would be hoping for with Avantis is for it to reclaim this 786 and then get some form of momentum to get a bounce. Because this has been a brutal decline. It's basically given back all the gains it did. And then as for Zora, Zora looks a lot healthier than Avantis from a charting perspective, right? So Zora is the safer buy, okay? But if you want to make a bold move, then I would go with Avantis. Zora is certainly the safer buy. And I'm very glad that I was loading up on Zora in that golden pocket and below it, actually. I was loading up below the golden pocket as well. Because we just catapulted to the upside. And it survived the crash tremendously well, Zora. Miggles and Benji, what are my thoughts? I think they're okay. Decent. If base memes do well, then they should pump. What is the most X's you made on a call? I've made way more than 100X before. So it's like probably between 100 and 200X on a meme coin last bull run. Like 160X or something like that. Moderate price prediction for ADA. Man. Do you want to hear the honest answer or do you want to hear the nice answer? I assume you want to hear the honest answer, right? Because that's the helpful answer. So ADA, man, been a bit lackluster this bull run, ADA. It really has. Hasn't gotten anywhere near its highs, despite Solana surpassing them. So for those of you who weren't around in 2021, ADA and Solana were like direct competitors in the smart contract space. They were the two big players. Clearly, Solana's won. And in the bear market, ADA went down to 21 cents. Okay. In the 1-day bear market that we had on Friday, ADA came down to 26 cents. So it almost tagged the bear market lows of the FTX crash. That is insane. But obviously it's recovered a lot. Yeah, I just don't get the appeal of ADA, really. I reckon ADA could go to $2, maybe $2.50 if you're really lucky. If you're really, really lucky, it could go to $2.50. But I don't see ADA surpassing its all-time highs this bull run. Because there's not enough development going on. They're too slow as always. And it's just too techy, too nerdy, you know? You need the actual adoption. Solana has the adoption. Yeah, Avantis does look weak. It does. That's why I took profits when it was up 8x. Brandon, why are you complaining about Avantis? I gave a sell alert when it was up 8x. Why didn't you sell? Why didn't you take profits at an 8x? I literally sent out a sell alert to the whole VIP group when it was up 8x. And people are complaining that it's dumped. Obviously, it dumped. It did a 10x in 10 days, and then we had the biggest Black Swan event ever in crypto. Obviously, it's dumped. But you're still up. You're still up over 2x from the entry, even after the dump. So you still double your money. How can you complain? Mike, I don't think Blowfin requires KYC to withdraw, does it? I think it's only if you want to go above like $20,000. There's plenty of people from the US on the copy trading. There's plenty and plenty of people on the copy trading from the US, and they've had no issues. I think it's only like if you want to withdraw really high amounts per day that you need to KYC. Yeah, it's not my fault if someone apes into a coin at the top. If you didn't follow my buy alert at 28 cents, that's on you. Because I bought it at 28 cents and I told everyone that I bought it at 28 cents. So if you bought it above $1, what can I say? You didn't follow the alert. So don't come into the live stream complaining because you've only got yourself to blame. Like, fair enough. You know, if you bought it based off my buy alert and based off my buy alert it didn't do well, then fair enough. You know, you could be a little bit frustrated. But still, at the end of the day, you still put your money in it, right? So even if it was my buy alert and it didn't do well, you are still responsible for your own investments. But I would kind of understand it if someone was frustrated from my buy alert entry. But you're frustrated from an entry that wasn't based off my buy alert. It was based off some massive pump you got into, probably a god candle you bought. Now, people don't know how to hit the sell button. That's true. I was literally telling people, right? And you guys can back me up on this. I was saying on these live streams, the best thing to do is to not buy Avantis and to buy Zora instead. How many times did I say that on these live streams when Avantis was given as god candles? How many times did I say, don't buy Avantis now, it's skyrocketing. If you missed the VIP buy alert, buy Zora instead. I said it like a broken record, and yet people still bought the Avantis pump and ignored the Zora dip. Because that's how people's brains work, I guess. It's like the confirmation bias type of thing. People don't like to buy into the dips. They don't like to buy the fear. They feel a lot more comfortable buying the green, buying the pumps. Something deep in our brains makes us feel more comfortable buying the pumps than buying the dips. Psychology again. I'd say probably 80% of the time people lose money in crypto. It's not necessarily because of lack of knowledge. It's because of the psychological aspect. Ondo price predictions. I'm still targeting around $3 on Ondo. Hasn't actually really broken its structure much. I mean, it's still a little bit below structure, but Ondo doesn't look too bad, actually. So, how's the stock market done today? I actually thought the stock market was off today for some reason. But the holiday was just a bank holiday, right? So the banks are off. The bond market's off, but the stock market is still on. So stock market's up today. Russell 2000 doing good compared to the S&P. Love to see it. Love to see it. Dominance is down today as well. Dominance now at 59%. Honestly, it looks like dominance might start dropping here because it hit my target. You guys remember, I always said, I think it will come to the golden pocket first before it drops lower. Well, it went actually a bit above the golden pocket on the wick. Now I think it's time for dominance to drop a lot lower. And you can see on our prime oscillator, it flashed overbought. There is a link down below to these indicators if you're interested. It flashed overbought. We got a reversal signal. If you look at the regular RSI, it went very high. This looks like it's going to fall over. It really, really does. And this aligns with my thesis that Bitcoin is more or less done this bull market, and now it's time to pivot into altcoins. That aligns with that thesis that I've had now since Bitcoin went to 126. Yeah, I was telling everyone to be cautious about Avantis after they missed it. And I said to get into other coins that haven't pumped yet. Yeah, thanks for backing me up on that. I did say that multiple times. The main reason people lose money on this channel is because they don't follow me. That's the main reason. On other YouTube channels, the main reason you lose money is because you follow the YouTuber. With me, it's because you don't follow me and you go off and do your own thing. You try and buy into a god candle when I say not to, right? Happens all the time. Yeah, I said it. I thought it could go up a bit higher, but it was risky. Yeah, I did say that. And it did go up a bit higher, right? And I took profits at the 8x. What crypto do I think will go up the most? Probably like a meme coin. Guys, you shouldn't be chasing the most gains. You should be chasing a coin with good risk to reward dynamics, not the most gains. I could find you a microcap meme coin that could 50x, but it could also rug pull tomorrow. If you want to make the most gains, you probably just gamble away on deck screen, all right? The question should be, what crypto could make decent gains with a solid risk profile? That should be the question. Not what crypto will do the most gains. You shouldn't be chasing the most gains. You're much better off getting a safe 3 to 5x than an all or nothing 20x. Because 9 times out of 10, that 20x you're chasing will not happen and you'll get destroyed. Whereas a lot of the time, the 3 to 5x you're chasing, you will actually get. Yeah, I think that was the bottom for Avantis because it came right back down to the start of the rally. Yeah, Tao's been doing great. Tao is still a high conviction play of mine. And I'm up 2x. I'm up more than 2x from my $198 buy on Tao. I was buying Tao sub $200, but my average I think is in the low 200s. So we're basically up 2x on Tao right now. Good to see. Tao's been doing great. Had a nice breakout. However, it is potentially a resistance point here now. Man, haven't bought Casper in a while, but I actually had to pick some up at 5 cents. I told you guys there was 2 circumstances in which I would buy more Casper. One is if it makes a breakout move to the upside, as in breaks above this downward slope in resistance. The other was if it comes back to its macro support, which was 5 cents. It did exactly that. It came back down to 5 cents, and I actually bought more Casper for the first time in a while. And you guys know I was selling Casper all the way up here at like 16, 17 cents. I was selling Casper. 16, 17 cents sold, 5 cents re-entered. How about that for a move? While all the other Casper Moonboy YouTubers were telling you it's going to $20 this year, telling you to ape in at 16 cents, I sold and rebought back in at 5 cents. Load up on Millie at this level. Yeah, Millie's a good high risk, high reward play. If you're purely chasing gains, okay, and you don't care about risk, then just go for Millie. But I think it is important to have a balanced portfolio, right? You need blue chips. You can't just go all in on memes. It's ridiculous. Most of the time you'll get wrecked. But Millie is a solid meme that could genuinely do very good X's if Say gives us a nice rally. So let's check up on my long position on XRP. See how that's doing. See how the copy traders are doing on the bundle. The big bundle. Wow, we're getting a nice rally. Did my TP get hit? I don't think my TP got hit just yet, but wow, we're getting a rally on this. Good to see. Don't you love just getting a trade at the breakout, catching it nicely? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? So XRP is moving based off that trade. My first TP is approaching. So my entry on XRP was 5.9. Okay. That was my entry on this trade position. The copy traders gain access to this and they just literally set it and forget it in real time. So whenever they basically just deposit the money on my link, and then I could open a trade overnight while they're sleeping, and they'll be in it. They can decide how much money they want to put in, and that is a perk just exclusive to the big bundle. But XRP giving us a nice pump here, and I entered on that blue line. Right here was my entry. Because I noticed the breakout was happening. I noticed Bitcoin was moving up, and we got a nice move here. I also opened a Sol trade earlier. I caught the breakout on Sol. I took profits a bit prematurely, though. I should have kept the trade open longer, right? But hindsight is 2020. But basically, I got in at the point of this breakout here. I noticed there was a triangle forming, right? Symmetrical triangle. I entered the trade here. And man, this thing just went up only from my trade entry point. So I've been killing it today on the trades, on the scalps. Bundle members been printing on those copy trades. So let me know, are you on the bundle? Are you a bundle member? Because right now, we're making some gains on the copy trade, and it's good to see. Yeah, it's basically passive income. Exactly, Brent. I mean, I can't guarantee people profits, right? But I'm trading for you, essentially. It's a great proposal. And you can pay in crypto for the bundle if you want. There's a pay in crypto section within my Discord. Let me just get you the link. I'll send it over in the chat. So if you want to pay with crypto, there's a link there. There's a section of the Discord that says pay in crypto. But yeah, this was the Solana trade. Unfortunately, I didn't ride it all the way up. I did take profits prematurely, but profits are profits, right? Sometimes I like to be on the conservative side and just take profits on a more cautious level than trying to time the exact tops. You make money in the middle. It's not always about getting the absolute low and selling the absolute high. No trader I know does that. Very few people get the absolute low and the absolute high. You make money in the middle. Greg says he's on the bundle and loving it. Good to hear. I'm on the bundle, but I'm not connected to the copy trading. I'll do it tonight. Yeah. That'd be great once you get it sorted, because we're printing today. Making some nice gains on the trade. That was the Solana trade there. That circled pink section is where I entered the trade at the point of breakout. And the XRP one is looking good as well. XRP trade's looking good. Man, loving this market today. I love trading when there's a bit of volatility, you know? I hate those sideways days where there's no volume, no volatility. Like, there's been a fair amount of volume and volatility today, which is a good recipe for a trader who knows what he's doing. Yeah, as a bundle member, you can direct message me your portfolio and I'll review it for you in depth. Yep. You can do that. Casper looks dead. Yeah, that's exactly the time when to buy a coin, is when it looks dead, because usually that's the floor. I thought the same thing about XRP, my friend. I made that mistake already this bull run. I thought XRP looked dead. And I'll hold my hands up and say, I was wrong. I was wrong. XRP was not dead. It looked dead. It was not dead. It was actually the best time to buy it, was when it looked dead. So Solana's pumping a lot today. Now it's XRP's time. One by one, the top coins are breaking out. XRP's given us a nice move. 618's at 2.70. Is it going to make a move up to the 618? That's the question, right? That's the question. So 84% chance US and China get a trade agreement, or tariff agreement, rather. Let's have a look if there's anything else here. Fed decision in October, 95% chance of a rate cut in October. How about December? Okay, 82% chance of a rate cut in December. So, I think right now it's pretty much a guarantee we get 2 more rate cuts this year. Oh, this is the big one I was looking at. Will Trump meet Xi Jinping by October 31st? And the current implied probability is 72% chance that they meet. This dropped to 60% at the lows. So it is starting to creep up. Could you imagine they both meet and there's a massive deal? They both put their differences aside, they get a big deal, and the markets soar. We go into price discovery on risk on assets. Could you imagine? XRP trade smashing it. Win, win, win. Absolutely, man. This trade smashing it. I've got a great entry here. Is copy trading full? No, it is not. There are still spaces for the copy trading, though I estimate it will probably be full maybe at the end of this week. The demand did slow down a little bit based off the fact the market dumped. A lot of people just said, right, I'm done with crypto. But, the people who stick in crypto during the crashes, the people who stick around, they are the ones who win in the long term. The people who go just during a bit of red, they're the exit liquidity at the top. They buy back in during the pumps. I can guarantee it. The voice call will be crazy after the stream. Yeah, we'll hop on the voice call, do some live trading, look at some charts. Maybe we do a mental call, Bren. What do you think? Ricky with the $2. Appreciate your donation. What is better right now, bro? I have 10K. Sui or Say? Sui for safety, Say for X's. So I would pretty much get both. But it depends on your risk-reward preferences. Personally, I have a bit more Sui because it's a safer one. But if I was going to buy one right now, I would actually buy Say. Personally, it's reclaimed the golden pocket now. Say is actually looking quite good. It's making a little bit of a comeback. Let's check it on the shorter time frames. See if we've got any like pattern here. It's a bit of a mishmash, this chart, actually. Say's a bit weird right now. Sui, however, did have a breakout move. I was going to enter this breakout, but I did get stopped out, like a 2% loss. But you can't win them all, right? I take a 2% loss on Sui and then win big on Solana and win big on XRP. But I was charting this, and I was charting the breakout. But sometimes I keep very tight stop losses, Kevin says, how do I join the Discord? Been watching you on YouTube for a few weeks, and I'm in profits without the VIP. I can only imagine if I got earlier buy alerts. Yeah, absolutely, man. People in the VIP are making a lot more money than the freebie members, I'll assure you that. Because it's not just my trades as well. There's other people in there giving genius trades as well. But if you want to join, the link is in the description to my memberships. You literally click on the VIP and then decide which payment plan you prefer. Do you want to pay for a month, 3 months, year, or lifetime? Select whichever one you prefer. And then And then you get the Discord link and you're in. So I'm watching the Russell 2000 very closely. Very, very closely. Because this is your risk on metric for the stock market. Louis, every single coin crashed like 80% in the top 100. It wasn't just say. Every coin crashed. Dairyland with the $5 says, "Hey Archie, been with you for a long time. Best around. Loving the bundle. Keep up the great work." Appreciate that, Dairyland. Happy to have you on the big bundle. And glad you've been a long time viewer of the channel. Really do appreciate it. Do I think Bitcoin will drop below 30K in the bear market? Probably not below it, but between 30 and 50K is my bear market target for Bitcoin. But I don't think it will drop below it. But guys, I've got some other things to do tonight. I'm gonna go on a group call in my Discord group. Should I join the mentor? Should I join the main VIP group chat? I don't know. Which one? Let me know in the chat which one. Mentor meeting or regular voice chat? Regular voice chat means there's going to be like 300 people in there. Mentor meeting means there's going to be like 50 people in there. It's going to be a lot more manageable. Which one do I join? But guys, hit the likes on the stream if you enjoyed. I'm looking forward to talking to some of you guys over in the Discord. And if you survive this crash, you can survive anything in crypto, I can assure you. So just give yourself a pat on the back. If you manage to survive this crash, you got some resilience because some people didn't, literally. But anyway, guys, we'll see you over in the Discord. Appreciate you all.